And we've managed to catch up with Shane Jones. Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Hey, kia ora, folks. Sorry about the delay.
That's all right.
It's good to hook up with you through, even if it is not on Zoom, but hearing the dulcet tones of Shane.
And the even more dulcet tones of Tina, who used to be what is now called a chest feeder. We've been dealing with gender issues this morning, and there's no bloody way I'm ever going to be a chest feeder.
No, I got zero tolerance for all that social mangling of our language.
Oh, isn't it awful? It is awful. Hey, but I was very specific about what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, and it is regional development.
Sure.
And it is really because you have managed to get a good sort of a lump of money, I suppose, in some respects, for regional development going forward. And I hate using that bloody term going forward, by the way. But anyway, I just really wanted to reflect on where you thought your successes and your failures were with the PGF fund in the past, and what you've learned and how you're going to apply that to the fund stuff going forward.
Well, going forward, it's really important that the regions themselves spend more effort on distilling and ranking their priorities. Mm-hmm. The last time round, a lot of it was led by dint of what was left over from Stephen Joyce.
Right. Yep.
And in fairness to Joyce, he defined research regions. He had received a host of pet projects, I suppose you'd say, and we were under pressure to get cracking because we were wanting to revitalise and boost the dynamic for development in the regions. This time around, I want things to happen so we don't get blasted for non-delivery. But I also want the regions themselves to rank the projects and rank the priorities.
And are they starting to do that?
Well, they've had every opportunity to do it over the last 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with you, because most of them have regional development agencies and they have a regional plan. So there should be it should take them a couple of days to go back through that and work out which are the things that are really important. Like for Wairarapa, it will be water, and that will be the thing that will be on their mind.
The other thing you need to bear in mind is that water proposals are dependent on getting decent legislation to rapidly consent water storage.
Yeah.
Now, people should not overlook the fact that Ruataniwha failed. Waimea Dam, of a similar magnitude, got through because Nick Smith got Parliament to consent it.
Yep.
Nick Smith had a bill, and that is the only reason that Waimea Dam got under construction.
Yep.
If we rely on the processes that we have at the moment, they will be installed by the courts, and that's why New Zealand is quite frankly under incarceration in its inability to get infrastructure delivered.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point you make, because I'm a qualified, dare I say it, hearings commissioner for the Resource Management Act, and I'm curious to know how or when the government is going to sort of look at that fast-track legislation as well.
So Cabinet is dealing with it at the moment. It's within the 100-day plan. It'll be in the House during the month of March.
Awesome.
And we'll go through a process in the House.
Fabulous.
Within that legislation, there will be, like Nick Smith did, certain projects that are consented by Parliament.
Right.
And then conditions can be attached to those projects via a special panel. But that panel will not be able to turn a project down. All it can do is navigate with the applicant suitable conditions, and those conditions will be offered against the criteria that is pro-development.
That makes much more sense to me. I'm very pleased to hear that. Because that gives us a pathway for the likes of the water storage in the Wairarapa, which is critical, basically, to the future of the Wairarapa.
Well, I don't think you'll get... Okay, you guys came to see me about water storage first had my first meeting, you may recall Dame Baisley.
Yep, Dame Margaret, yep.
Sorry, I'm being a little casual with her name, Dame Margaret Baisley.
Yep.
Put it in front of me in 2017.
I remember that.
6 years ago.
Yep.
You will not get any water storage built in Wairarapa until we change the legislation. Just
right. Yep.
Why? Because people have an agenda that makes them feel water will lead to agricultural intensification. Water will lead to a despoliation of the environment. Well, there's some trade-offs here. We're either going to have employment for working people, jobs for communities, or we're going to continue a situation where the bat, the snail, and the frog eclipse the interests of working people. Come back to the fast-track legislation. We're hoping that it'll be in the House during the month of March. It will have an unvarnished focus on development, i.e., the expedition allocation of approvals for projects to get going, both industry and infrastructure. Yep.
Awesome. That's really good.
Now, on the question of the fund, obviously the criteria has to be settled still by Cabinet. But there's a sense that there'll be projects that boost resilience, boost productivity. There's opportunity for private-public. There's opportunity for debt. There's opportunity for equity. And there will be some wriggle room for grants, but they're likely to be for genuine public good features, such as rapidly fixing up a seawall or fixing up the challenges of the community with a stop bank or something like that. At the end of the day, it's not a hell of a lot of money, but the local government themselves have said to me, we've got a range of modest projects. If you can help de-risk it, provide some capital with us, we'll fund it.
That sounds really good. So, in terms of the things that you did in your last lot, what are the projects that you reckon were the epitome of the good stuff that you did? What are the ones you sort of look back on with fondness?
I think the transformation of Oportuguese through the port.
Yep.
I think in the South Island, working with the local community to develop the Opuke thermal pools, which has turned into a major catalyst. Yep. I think also in areas such as Northland, I actually got the water storage underway. But I have to tell you that water storage only happened because I got it consented in Parliament. Yeah. I circumvented regional government, local government, and those other buckets. Yeah. The things that we've done a lot of learning from is that there's no point announcing projects if they don't have a consent. And then you're almost held hostage to. Yeah. So that's a lesson we've got to be very careful about this time. And obviously we've got to take on board the learnings from the various reports from the Auditor General's Department. Yeah. And go forward. There's really no upside in lacerating ourselves as to what did work and didn't work in terms of administrative process. No one got investigated for doing anything illegal. Yes, there were reports where the bureaucracy got hammered for vagueness of process, but part of that hammering wasn't really the Provincial Growth Fund, it was the shovel-ready money, and that was in the midst of COVID.